Has he completely given up? Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. I forgot how the story began. But now we are at the point of parting, with a heavy heart full of regret. So it's hard to tell what he is thinking right now. Today, let's explore his inner answers through our public video. Has he completely given up? Does he still have hopes for the relationship? So before we start, please like and comment so that I can receive more information from the other person. So, the 3 cards in the picture are today's 3 sets of options. Starting from the left, they are the first set on the left, the second set in the middle, and the third set on the right. Please think about the other person at this moment, and then choose the set of cards you feel most connected to based on your first intuition. If you haven't decided yet, you can pause the video. Don't overthink it, just make your choice and then watch the corresponding content. After liking and commenting, let's look at the first group of friends who chose the card on the far left. Today, we will use the inspiration corresponding to the card spread to see how the other person views you, the other person thinks about the current relationship, and how they hope it will develop in the future. So today, we will look at both your thoughts and the other person's thoughts. First, let's see how you view the other person. The first card, the reverse Knight of Cups. What does this card mean? There are still feelings of affection, as he is ultimately surrounded by layers of water elements. However, at the moment, you might not be in a state where you want to take action in this relationship, including observing the other person's actions. But after observing, because the Knight of Cups is in reverse, the other person's lack of initiative makes you feel very unconfident, which in turn makes you a bit reluctant to take action yourself. You might have already formed an opinion about this person in your mind, thinking about this person in a certain way, wanting to let go of this relationship. Has he really given up? The Nine of Swords. Sigh. When the Nine of Swords appears, I must say that I can be sure he hasn't completely moved on from your relationship yet, because the Nine of Swords clearly indicates that he is still thinking and struggling with the relationship between you and him. If we are talking about the time of passionate love, we might be looking at sweetness and beauty. When pulling back and forth, it's really about seeing who is more heartbroken about this relationship. From the Nine of Swords card that shows he is restless and sleepless over you, it seems that someone might truly be placing you in a very important position in their heart. However, it's clear that there are also some issues in your relationship that might be giving him a very strong sense of crisis. The Nine of Swords tends to be a bit pessimistic, and he might repeatedly think about the not-so-good things in the relationship. Factors and obstacles you will face, the crises he has to bear, and so on. These negative energies are the easiest to make this person fall into entanglement and hesitation. How do you think the current relationship is? It is a Four of Pentacles. If you temporarily don't want to take action, naturally observe and see. This kind of thought is not particularly wanting to let go, but at the same time, not wanting to invest too much in this relationship. Some of you may have already made efforts and adjustments for this relationship. At this moment, you don't want to let yourself fall into an endless cycle of retreat and compromise. So right now, you want to carefully observe what the other person really wants to do. This includes considering the Four of Pentacles, where friends in the first group will carefully weigh real-world issues. This means that when you look at or think about this relationship again, you might be more cautious. The real-world issues he has to face are also something you care about. When it comes to the current relationship, the reversed Nine of Pentacles appears, suggesting that this relationship is also a hindrance in terms of real-world problems. I feel that with the reversed Nine of Pentacles, both of you might be hesitant in this relationship. You might have some thoughts about him, and he might feel uncertain about himself. Indeed, no. Well, there's no way to meet your needs on certain levels, especially for this group. If the audience members are women, he might even feel that it's difficult to reach a consensus with you on material aspects, efforts, or interactions. It's somewhat like a difference in values. He might think that something should be done one way, while you believe it must be done another way. This sense of difference makes him feel uneasy. You might be wondering what kind of opinions among the public are dissatisfied with him. And then, for another group of friends, what kind of differences exist between you two on a material level? You might not necessarily have the same spending habits or material conditions, and these factors could be different. Now, let's look at how you hope the relationship will develop with the reversed six. This group of friends hopes to gain something in this emotional relationship, more equality, and then it's a feeling of stability. You might feel that the relationship is a bit unbalanced. Sometimes, when you are good to him, he habitually expects you to be good to him, rather than immediately reciprocating with the same positive energy. And sometimes, when he realizes that you are willing to make sacrifices or adjustments for the relationship, he becomes a bit lazy. He might think, since you are good to me, I don't need to do anything. He doesn't realize that when you are good to him, he should respond with even better efforts. Make this relationship develop more positively. He is a bit lazy, so you would hope that this relationship at the very least is in a state of equality. You are willing to continue investing in this relationship, but you also hope that he can make adjustments and changes for the sake of this relationship. So what does the other person expect? Ace of Cups. Oh dear, when the Ace of Cups appears, I have to share some not so good news with everyone. For our friends in the first group, you might not be his top choice in his heart. I have to be straightforward, and I hope you won't be too upset. I believe you can sense it. The Ace of Cups signifies a new beginning. At present, you might not be his priority. He hasn't let go of you, but it's uncertain if he definitely wants to be with you. Continuing steadfastly, I feel that he is. Uncertain because there might be feelings in your relationship. The cards indeed show water elements, along with wind and earth elements. Judging from the four elements, what is lacking is action, and the real-world issues you face might be significant. In some relationships, there might even be a third-party energy. This person might feel that they are unable to maintain this relationship. Unable to take this position, he might feel that he has never been able to truly and completely have you. He even thinks that he is just a temporary amusement for you, and you might only be staying by his side for a short while. In the future, you will still actively protect the important parts of your life, and he doesn't consider himself a necessary part of your life. After having this thought, he will habitually or instinctively, unconsciously, he has placed you in his life. The secondary option is that this person is too pessimistic. His view of you is like a health whine, which makes me feel that when he looks at you, maybe you have sincerely told him that you love him very much and want to be with him for a long time, and you have even taken action. But this person seems to be impervious to reason. This statement might sound a bit harsh, but health whine indeed gives that impression. He has magnified the small negative things too much, so after being eroded by some negative energy for a long time, he will crave a new beginning and desire some new adjustments. Actually, I feel that for the first group of friends, you have taken action towards this person, but you feel that you can no longer take action in this relationship now. In many of these situations, you feel like he is unwilling to accept the cup of love you are offering, this Ace of Cups. So, at this point, you feel that maybe your relationship needs some adjustments, and your focus is on hoping that he can make some changes. It's not that you are completely unwilling to change, but you feel exhausted and want to take a break. You are reluctant to give up on this relationship, but you know that if he cannot, in this relationship, even if you put in more effort and take more action, the relationship is unbalanced and problems will still arise in the future. In fact, the issues between the two of you are not something that happened overnight. They may have been present for a long time. There have been problems in the past, and there is already a crack. You both might have seen these issues, but neither of you has properly addressed them, which inevitably led your relationship to this point. Our friends in the first group are actually clearly aware of this. Changes must be made, adjustments must be done. If changes cannot be made, the two will remain in a state of constant tug-of-war. But what about the other person? I feel that he has too many negative thoughts about this relationship. He feels that the situation is beyond repair, thinking that if this relationship continues, no matter how much he struggles or changes, he won't be able to push the relationship forward. On a smoother level, you actually hope that both of you can take a step back and reach a sense of balance. You want the other person to make adjustments and changes first. You are willing to tolerate him, forgive him, and give him more love. However, you need his actions at the moment to give you more motivation and confidence. But from his perspective, he feels that it's not that he is unwilling to act, but rather he feels that his actions are a drop in the bucket. That's how he feels. No matter how much he is suffering right now, he might have realized that he did something wrong, but he believes he can't change the current reality. He thinks that no matter how much he changes, there are still unsolvable problems in your relationship. So it's not that he is unwilling to change, but rather that he is too pessimistic about it. He feels that his energy is very limited. After making efforts and changes, the relationship remains the same. To put it humorously, though it might be a bit inappropriate, he feels like someone who has messed up his main account and now wants to start over with a new one. This feeling doesn't mean that you are a thing of the past. Rather, he thinks that by starting anew and having other options, he might be able to manage the relationship better. This kind of thinking is somewhat indicative of his mindset. Avoiding the issue is like saying, if I fall here, I take a different path and I won't fall again. But that's not the case. The core problem is that you didn't walk the path properly. However, he clearly hasn't realized that he needs to make deeper adjustments and changes within himself. Regarding this relationship, the other person feels disappointed. Consequently, he tends to attribute some of the reasons to you, feeling empty and unfulfilled. Then, you might even feel that you are eager to leave this relationship. So I think this person, he actually leans towards not wanting to solve the problems anymore, and just wants to walk away. Although he still has love and affection for this relationship, and can't completely let go, he also feels that solving the problems is too difficult, almost to the point of giving up. So, regarding this relationship, if you ask whether he cares about you, he still does. But if you want him to take action, in your card spread, there are no mixed elements, right? It's all image energy, then water energy. And the only wind element is the first card. There are no fire elements at all. In this state, the amount of action he can take is very limited, and it might be that both of you need to take action to push this relationship forward through mutual effort. If it's just him alone, I estimate that he might easily give up. This is all the information for our first group of friends. After liking and commenting, let's look at the second set. For those who chose the middle card, today we will use the inspiration corresponding to the card spread to see the other person's thoughts and expectations about you. First, let's draw a card to see what you think of him. You see him as the reversed Page of Wands, which currently suggests that you want to make a plan, change this relationship, and seriously think about it. There is indeed a sense of mental confusion, a feeling of not knowing where to start or how to take action and make changes. So, the reversed position of the wand of the deceased suggests that the other person repeatedly contemplates and focuses on this relationship. Additionally, it indicates that everyone might be hoping to find some point of action or motivation from the other person. You might not have taken any action, but you are closely monitoring him, and you actually want to take action. However, you are unsure if your actions are appropriate. As for his view of you, it is represented by the Ten of Pentacles. Is there some real-world obstacle between you two, or some kind of feeling? I think he is also paying attention to you and noticing your interest. In fact, he seems to be hiding some of his emotional energy in a different way, to observe you or to express himself. Additionally, I think this person might have some personal matters to face and adjust to right now. He might be focusing on his career or family issues, making them a priority in his life. It seems that he is not prioritizing the relationship at the moment. So what do you think about the current relationship? It's a Six of Cups, which definitely indicates a deep and beautiful connection. It's possible that you two are reuniting after a long time. For example, you might have known each other in the past, but separated for some reason. Or this could be a relationship that has been going on for a very long time. The Six of Cups represents nostalgia and familiarity, suggesting that you might feel like you've known each other before. And this includes some friends as well. You and he may not have had a very long timeline in reality, meaning you haven't been entangled for a very long time. However, when you first met each other or during your interactions, you both felt like, hey, you have this thought and he has this thought too. It's a feeling of déjà vu, like there's some old energy making you feel connected. There was a very deep sense of connection. And then, for some of you, the relationship dynamics are a bit complicated. The other person views the current relationship as the Judgment card. When Judgment appears here, it is not optimistic, because Judgment indicates that the relationship is indeed at a significant turning point. I think he has indeed grown, and there has been a substantial improvement. An improvement point might be that his current perspective on this relationship is very different from his previous perspective. This also includes the idea that Judgment brings a certain level of growth. This implies that he believes he or you, or the emotional connection between you two, is going through a significant turning point. After experiencing this turning point, your relationship might become much clearer. The result is not about how he will adjust this relationship, but rather he feels that fate will push your relationship towards a certain outcome. So, what do you expect for the future development of the relationship death card? You might hope for a significant adjustment or change in this relationship. Some friends might even feel that they no longer have strong confidence in this relationship. You will realize that both of you need to make adjustments, almost like a rebirth from death. Either you both undergo a major transformation and change many things to be together, or it might be impossible for you to come together as a very intimate couple. The method is like that of a hunter, where you are so close and intimate that it feels like you are almost conjoined. I think for those of you in this group, you are determined about this relationship, but it will take more time to develop his corresponding actions. The other party expects the future development to be in a reversed King of Swords position. This group gives me a sense of deep perseverance, with a strong entanglement between the two people in this relationship. There are quite a lot of issues, and there might also be some interference from family energy in your relationship. How should I put it? Although there is only one card with earth energy, the obstacles in your relationship are definitely very significant. The main reason is that this person places too much importance on real-world problems. Real-world issues can be changed and adjusted, but the key point is that this person tends to magnify these problems. This arrangement makes me feel that regardless of your real-life situation, your feelings for each other are quite positive. This positivity doesn't mean actively changing for the sake of the relationship, but rather placing the relationship in a very important position in your life. Subconsciously, you still feel like you want to share things with the other person. When you have good news, you want to tell them, and when you have something unpleasant, the first person you think of telling is them. So when something happens, the first person I think of is him, which means that many aspects of life are closely related to each other. Because in your case, when the Judgment or Death card appears, it means that both people have placed this relationship on a very profound level. I think that the other person doesn't have much faith in this relationship. I feel that he has given up on something, and the proportion of what he has given up is quite high, after all. If the expectation is the reversed King of Swords, then this person might be extremely rational about your relationship. For our second group of friends, your belief in this relationship is not particularly strong either. This person might make you feel helpless, and regarding the future of your relationship, your expectations are very low. You feel that it is difficult for him to easily adjust and change. So your view of this relationship is quite pessimistic. That previous feeling of being very positive and having faith, where your life was all about him, but you don't feel that he can give you that same positive and faithful emotion. Your heart in this relationship is already in a very tormented state, and this person regarding the feelings between you two makes me feel that he is actually very confused as well. The Nine of Swords card, how should I put it, is very rational. It belongs to the type that quickly weighs the pros and cons. In just a few minutes, he might come up with a very firm answer for himself. However, I think, regarding this relationship, I feel like I would make the other person feel helpless. As for his own thoughts, he is hesitant. This person is very good at filtering and selecting the most suitable situation or state for himself. But when it comes to this relationship, he finds it hard to let go. It's the final point of determination. He actually knows clearly how this emotional relationship is, and that choosing and adjusting is the most correct approach, the easiest way, but it's because of his indecisiveness. There's a sense that he can't make the final decision completely, which makes me see that his state is very low. His whole attitude is very resolute on the surface, but inside he is hesitant. However, indeed, when he is in a state that leans more towards being resolute, it's actually hard to say that he will actively adjust on his own. In fact, when you want to change and adjust, you might find that you can't change him. He might be a bit indifferent and prefers to withdraw from the relationship to avoid it. This person is not easily swayed by emotions. He follows his own rhythm and doesn't want to be led by the nose. So I feel that this person, he is definitely very rational. When it comes to the relationship, sometimes he even appears indifferent. You might feel that when the two of you are not in contact, he doesn't think about you. This is the state he expects, if it's the reversed King of Swords. And if the other person is male, his attention is on himself. He would want to make a clearer judgment. He also means that he doesn't want to make a definitive conclusion about the relationship right now, preferring to think about it rationally first. From a rational perspective, there are still opportunities to adjust and transform your relationship. I think he can look at this relationship rationally and make a relatively neutral decision. However, if you want to be together, he needs to put in a lot of effort and make many changes. After weighing the pros and cons, it will be difficult for him to choose you, my friend. Because I feel that when the King of Swords makes a decision, it is always well considered and based on relevant realities. So, think about what factors are at play in reality, and you will be able to understand his state of mind and thoughts. If any of you here are male, I think his expectation is represented by the reversed King of Swords. This means that he feels the interactions between you, and even the topics you discuss, put pressure on him. He hopes that certain things can be postponed for a while. Maybe you are just inviting him to be closer to you and to actively cooperate with you to make the relationship better. However, because he is currently in a state of change, he hopes that his actions are not influenced by others. He feels willing to make changes and adjustments, but he doesn't want to be pushed by you. He hopes to make these adjustments and changes on his own initiative. So overall, it's like this. If the two of you are already in a marital or partner relationship, I think his belief in this relationship is still okay. He just hopes to handle things rationally. However, if this relationship faces significant real-world obstacles, you might also realize that your own confidence is fading. Even if I were to tell you otherwise, you would still feel this way. He exudes confidence, and you might not believe it because of your analysis of him, your perception of him, and your understanding of him. You are very familiar with him and know what kind of person he is. So, for most of you in this group, you might have already had some answers before choosing this option. Today's divination might just be a confirmation of the answer you already had in your heart. Well, that's the content for our second group of friends. After liking and commenting, let's look at the third group. For those who chose the card on the far right, today we will use the inspiration corresponding to the card spread to see how the other person views you and how they perceive this relationship. What are their expectations for your future together? First, let's see how you view the other person. It's a reversed Nine of Swords. This group of friends might have some close friends or family members telling you that this relationship isn't working out or isn't suitable. Some words might make you feel like you want to retreat and leave this person. It could be due to some voices or real-life factors. When you look at it, you will clearly feel that being with this person might lead to many ups and downs in the future, and there will be many conflicts. Additionally, either you or the other person has experienced something. That has made your relationship more distant. It is no longer a close relationship, and it could be due to a small incident between the two of you. It has become somewhat distant, lacking the emotional intimacy or familiarity, and trust. The other person's view of you is one of the reversed Knight of Wands. Currently suggests that he actually wants to take action towards you, but he might feel unsure about how to move forward. After all, a knight typically wants to make a move, adjust, and bring about change. However, when reversed, it indicates that there is a fiery energy within him, as the wands represent the fire element. He wants to take action, make adjustments, and bring about change. But Where is the direction? In this somewhat unclear feeling, you think that the current relationship has the Knight of Cups in reverse. Both of you might be a bit unsure about how to act, or how to change the situation. So I feel that he hasn't let go yet, and he still cares about you, but there's this sense of helplessness. For our friends in the third group, you might feel that what you give and what you receive in this relationship are not consistent. So, the new Knight of Pentacles and the reversed Nine of Swords indicate that when you look at this relationship, you lack confidence. You have many concerns and worries due to various real-world reasons. You realize that you have genuinely invested your time, energy, and money, but after giving so much, you feel that you haven't received what you truly wanted. Regarding the current relationship, he is like a hermit. He hasn't really given up on you because, as a hermit, he just hides his feelings and affection for you. It doesn't mean he has completely let go and left. The card also makes me feel that he might really want to do something now, but he is afraid of doing it wrong, which could lead to the relationship becoming more distant. He is very cautious about this. So, I think this person might not be very good at handling this relationship, which has led to a situation where you lack confidence and he feels very nervous, not knowing what to do. However, I believe that this person actually wants to continue the relationship, because he is still very focused on you. It's just that his way of showing attention might not be very obvious. I might not tell you, "Hey, I'm going to see you again," but rather try my best not to let you discover that his heart is filled with you. I think it's similar to the idea of being worried that the more he does, the more mistakes he makes. So, how do you look forward to your future? The Three of Wands shows that you haven't given up yet, but you are very lacking in confidence. The Three of Wands is about looking towards the future, and you want to move forward. Knowing how things will turn out between you and him in the future can help you decide what to do now. Many people have this thought, but sometimes the future is very uncertain. The future is shaped by the present, not the other way around. It's the present that determines the future. Sometimes we can think less about distant matters. Although public video might sometimes present long-term predictions, in real life, we still need to rely on our present actions. Feel the present moment, then make decisions based on your thoughts. It will actually be good. How does the other person envision your future together? A Strength card appears, indicating that the other person has not given up. He is still very cautious and is thinking carefully, wanting to focus on the issues between you. I think he has already become aware of some details, and he is also observing the small things. I am planning for the future because strength is an energy of collaboration between two people. And what about the girl and the lion? If they work together to promote this relationship, it will develop positively. Moreover, I feel that he will realize that some of his actions in the past interactions were not good. He will reflect on himself, thinking about some details, and even consider where he didn't do well enough. So, his current inaction doesn't mean he's leaving or deviating. Rather, I think he is in the process of self-reflection. Adjust yourself and make plans with your words. If the two of you are still in contact, you should have a good conversation and communicate further. He wants to reconnect with you because the strength is originally the energy of two people. I think he is not extremely confident, but he hopes to be in a state where you and he are together. He might be looking for some hints from you as well. It might be this person, and there are things in real life that have caused his focus to not be on you, like this wand. Actually, when it's reversed, it means he wants to come towards you, but some things in life are pushing him away, making it impossible for him to come to you. This has made him realize that you are vulnerable and hurt. However, at the moment he is somewhat overwhelmed and unable to manage everything. He doesn't have much time and energy to invest in this relationship, but his heart is always thinking and considering it. He also hopes that both of you can be in a stable state, to overcome obstacles and use your combined energy to change things. Actually, I really think that as long as you don't give up and give him positive feedback, and both of you adjust calmly and peacefully, you can achieve a better outcome. Indeed, I can sense that both of you have been hurt in this relationship. The hurt you feel is also felt by the other person. However, after being hurt for a long time, the inner sense of belief becomes fragile. So it's natural to sometimes crave more evidence from the other person to prove that this relationship can offer more acceptance. In the past, both of you might have charged forward like warriors, but now, as you keep going, it feels like there's no more drive or motivation, so you want to recharge from the other person, but actually, the other person also lacks motivation in this relationship. When two people who are both lacking come together, it's like the old saying, a poor couple is sad in everything. Although you might not be at that point yet, when people's energy is insufficient, they become anxious to change the relationship. Actually, it's not possible to adjust the relationship to a very positive and active state. So actually, the issue isn't really about who did something wrong, but rather that there are some significant obstacles. Some problems are not easily faced or solved just by seeing them. However, I think both your mindset and his mindset have expectations. In a normal situation, based on what I see, I believe he really hasn't given up on you. Under normal circumstances, you two can develop well. Both of you are able to face problems directly and solve them because there isn't a significant difference in your attitudes, especially regarding the other person's mindset. There aren't any major issues. He does have love and care for you. The Strength card also indicates that he hopes both of you can adjust in a positive direction. I think he hopes to adjust some aspects of his own life as well. It's not calm after the unstable factors. Make yourself like a person, full of energy, and then re-establish this sense of adjustment with you. Get ready and then adjust the issues between the two of you as needed. Change what needs to be changed so that the relationship reaches a state of, quote, full effort. I think he doesn't believe the problem lies solely with you, and he certainly doesn't think it's all on himself either. But with this strength, he believes that this relationship can proceed well. Both of you need to make adjustments and changes. This situation, Mole, suggests that he is currently focusing on the relationship between the two of you. There may be many obstacles in this relationship, but his inner thought is that if this relationship cannot develop in a very motivated and harmonious state, then external problems cannot be solved either. He wants to focus on this first. Focusing on your internal dynamics, both of you hope to mutually adjust or change the nature of your relationship, making the connection more solid and stable. When facing external obstacles, he might find it much easier or even more manageable. I think he hasn't given up. He is waiting for the right moment, hoping that both of you can face this relationship in a more mature and stable manner. Although there might be some negative voices around your third group of friends talking to you, I can't say that the voices obstructing you are wrong or incorrect. But if you believe that this relationship is indeed very important and profound, then trying and making an effort might bring a turnaround in the future. When you can't let go, take action, but don't be impatient. Sometimes, in relationships, there is no clear answer. Who is Superman? Everyone is just two people who need love, who need to be loved and cared for. In a relationship, no matter how old you are like children who need to learn, constantly admit mistakes, constantly change, and face each other with a heart of tolerance. Okay, so this is all the content for our third group of friends. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you all the best. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.